in Academy Sports Show studios.
Yeah.
A little later than normal if you're on our YouTube page, but if you're listening on iTunes or SoundCloud, we're right on time because you press play, and we appreciate it. As always, thank you. You guys are far too kind. We appreciate all the feedback and all the comments and loves and shares that you guys do on all our social medias and all of our uh, social media pages. We want to send you positive vibes through that, and we want to thank you. Make sure you guys, if you haven't already, go to our Instagram and follow that. Make sure you go to our Facebook and like that. Make sure you go to iTunes and search Academy Sports Show. See our faces, subscribe to that, comment, rate that, please. Go to SoundCloud, Android phone, or if you just prefer SoundCloud, we're on there too. Search us, look for our faces and caricature. That's us. Click our faces. Subscribe to that, like that, share that. You can also comment live and we'll see your comments. We love the comments on SoundCloud. We love to see different places and continents and areas and cities that listen to Academy Sports Show. So we definitely appreciate the love there. Make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Search our faces, Academy Sports Show. You'll see us. It's two black guys, one with a dunce cap, one with a graduation cap. Play on words, Academy Sports Show. Make sure you subscribe to us and then trigger that bell so then you know when we go live, whether it's on time or late, you will know because you will get a notification to let you know that the Academy Sports Show is on and you can comment live and be a part of the show. I'm your host, Andre Douglas, and next to me is your host, Joel Williams.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back, Dre.
Hey,
Came back from vacation.
hey.
I was all alone last week.
But you held it down.
I appreciate it.
Held
And you
it down.
joined us in the live feed, so I
did.
appreciate that.
I was eating dinner with my wife, and I was like, you know what? I got a notification that the Academy Sports Show is on. So I had the long.
Dope. What up, everybody? It's good to have you here on tonight. Appreciate you guys joining us. As you heard Dre say, thanks for joining us in our live feed on YouTube and in our live feed in my live feed on Facebook, which I'm only keeping on briefly before I shut it down and we push everybody over to our YouTube page. Tonight's show, we got a little bit to talk about, but a lot of it to talk about. Actually, tonight, it is all about the NBA. A lot going on this week. Playoffs have continued. Western Conference Finals are up tonight. Golden State leads that series 1-0. Eastern Conference Finals were up last night. Milwaukee came back and got a dub. So at this point in time, both series are 1-0. The home team and game 2 is about to begin in about 9 minutes. So we'll talk a little bit of Western Conference Finals, talk a little bit Eastern Conference Finals, talk about who we think is going to come out in that series, even though they're both series are up 1-0. We can still give our predictions. Also, what are the teams going to do that are done? They're done. They've gone fishing. 1, 2, 3, Cancun. They're out. All right, so we're talking about Boston Celtics. We're talking about the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid cried ugly face. That was tough to watch. So we're talking about that a little bit. Our thoughts. What's going to happen with those folks? You know, next year's going to be a different year. Things are going to be big. The NBA machine that it is alive and kicking and will be through the summer into free agency. And then in the fall, it will be all about Zion. If you didn't see it, folks, the NBA draft lottery took place on Tuesday evening. The number 1 pick in the 2019 draft upcoming on January 20th goes to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Boo.
And the number 2 pick goes to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Boo.
So we got to talk a little bit about that. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about the new format? How do you feel about the players being there? How do you feel about possibly Zion ending up in New Orleans with AD or maybe without AD? We got to talk about that tonight too. AD, does he get traded? Does he get packaged? Will New Orleans give him up for the number 1 pick? Will they make a trade and give someone Zion on behalf of AD and a bunch of talent? They'll fleece a team. That team will get number 1 pick, and they'll only have Zion. What will happen? We're going to talk about that much more tonight on the Academy Sports Show. We appreciate you joining us. So as we're working through our technical difficulties here on the show, Dre is fast at work to my right. That's why you see him just looking off to the right. He's not just randomly not paying attention. He's trying to get our audio taken care of in regards to our recording so that the folks in Podcast Land can hear us next week. So I believe that's a cue for me to keep talking. So we appreciate you guys joining us again. Thank you for following us on YouTube. Thank you for following us on Instagram. Thank you for following us on Twitter, on Facebook. If you're in our live feed tonight, please share. Please share. Let somebody know that you're listening. Let somebody know that you're watching us live, and let them come in on the excitement. Share, talk, comment. Don't forget, you comment tonight, we comment back on this show all the time. We're always making sure that we listen to our fans, that we have a great discussion, and that we do what we're supposed to do. Let's see here. What else? We got to pay the bills. We have to pay the bills, and we'll start by doing that, which we don't normally do right now. But we're going to do it now anyway. So, big ups to KW Lakeside, the home team. Are you looking to buy, sell, rent, lease, or invest in real estate? Are you looking for a career change? If you are, call Nick Bowers and his team at Keller Williams Lakeside. Let the home team help you with your real estate needs. Go to their website at www.thehometeamusa.com or go on Facebook and search The Home Team. The Home Team, a team you can depend on. Call my man Nick Bowers at 586-634-9419. Again, that's Nick Bowers at 586-634-9419. KW Lakeside, the home team. Also, big shout out to Dre and his family for returning back from Florida. They drove.
Oh, God.
They drove to Orlando.
Oh, God.
And then drove back. How we doing? We good?
Yeah, I'm back. We back.
All right, we're back up. He did a quick edit right there, too.
Yeah,
Just dropped the show right in there.
Yeah.
Nice job. So, big ups to Dre. James Hill just joined the feed, Facebook feed, and says, Steelers football.
I mean,
Is that like Berkeley Steelers or Pittsburgh Steelers?
Either way, they're bad.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah, you can say that. Are you rooting? Is that a Pittsburgh Steelers shout out?
I was like, he's regret. I don't want to be rude.
Oh, this is a sports show. We have to say how we feel. I think
they can get this work.
Yeah, I think I don't know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be the greatest football team this year, but
either franchise.
You're a fan, so you deserve to root for your team. And while you're rooting, if you could also go on YouTube and look us up, Academy Sports Show, and follow us, that'd be great.
You know, Brian brought up something. I've been hearing this sparingly. I don't know if you dove into this, but there's been a recent rule change in high school football and things of that nature. Yes. Can you dive into that for me a little bit and let me know what exactly that is? I've been hearing bits and pieces of each thing, you know, and then also what the playoffs is not off a win-loss, it's off a strength of schedule or something like that. And then you can't hit as often as you can. So right now we're getting into an era of, let's stay with us, folks, because we talk about everything. Talk about high school, college, everything, because this impacts the game in a large way, whether your kids now, whether they're small or getting ready to go to college or in high school, these new rules impact them of how often they can hit. We understand that it is a new era of concussions and trying to keep that down and getting hits on young bodies so they can have a productive life and things of that nature. But it's also losing fundamentals. You're also putting kids out there in danger because just think about it. Not every kid goes from Pop Warner to hitting to high school. Some kids just start off in high school. So if you got a kid that's only hitting one day a week and then you throw them in a game, that kid can possibly get themselves injured. So if you can flesh that out for me, you know, what's going on with the new rule? Is this statewide? Is this worldwide? What's going on with it?
So Brian sent us a text, right? And so when you look online, basically, I'm going to read from his text because it's easier to do that way. But it looks like that the Michigan High School Sports Athletic Association, MHSAA, has decided to adopt a rule with high school football that there can only be 30 minutes a week in tackling.
Mm.
So that's down from last year's ruling, which was 60 minutes a week. James Hill says, who are the Lions? They're another team that sucks really bad. We're not going to ring that till we introduce it. So to your point, as football coaches, right, this impacts us because usually at the youth level, they're going to follow the example of the high school. Mm-hmm. So usually any high school rules that are implemented we're going to also have to dictate or deal with because those are going to be dictated to us. So with that being said, we could probably assume that our practices this year are going to be adjusted extremely. We will only be able to hit for 30 minutes. So there's this idea that there's safety involved. We're 100% behind everybody on the safety piece.
Most definitely.
I feel like concussions are more exposed now. Mm-hmm. I still think that there were a ton of concussions in the game back in the day, but we just didn't have social media. We just didn't have all those other things. So I think that that's going to be that's kind of interesting to see how this is all playing out because it does take the hitting out of practice, which statistically they're saying that like 40% more concussions happen in practice than they do in games. All right, I hear you. I get it. You're driving the statistics. Save game, save the game, all that. The challenge now becomes no tackling during the week equals poor tackling on Saturdays, poor tackling on Friday nights, poor tackling on Sundays.
Right.
You've seen it in the NFL. You've seen it a lot where they don't tackle anymore. Mm-hmm. So
for bad tackling
technique, head down, injuries happen. Yeah. So let's practice at something that is essential for survival in this sport. It's going to have its pros. Concussions are going to go down. The cons, though, or the poor technique, the bad tackling, things like that, it's going to be a challenge. As coaches, we have to adhere to it. Of course, we're gonna do what we're asked to do, and It's all about the safety. But that's that rule. So we're down to 30 minutes. Well, high school's down to 30 minutes contact, and so that literally means they might as well practice in shoulder pads and helmets all week with some shorts on, except for one day a week you can put your pads on and hit.
Because most high school practices 5 days a week for 2 hours.
Yep.
So take that 2 hours. 5 days a week, and you can only hit for 30 minutes that week.
Wow. So you can't even. So like last year, we could hit for 60 minutes. So we would take 15-minute intervals and spread them out, or we would take the 20-minute interval and go 20, 20, 20. You got 3 days of hitting, right? Now you're down to 30 minutes. You got 3 10-minute sets, which if you know anything about a football practice, the constant movement. A lot of changing from this to that. Yep. By the time you set up and you're going to the next drill, 10 minutes, it's not gonna be worth it. So you have to create some efficiencies, and you got to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, hitting isn't just live either. Like when you say hitting, we're still like even implementing game plans.
Correct.
Those are still hitting. Yep. Plays and things of that nature. When we're trying to go through those things are still considered hitting. So it's just not. We're going live and getting reps in, like even the linemen and in the trenches, that is still considered hitting. So even just practicing your basic formations and your basic fundamentals, that's still considered part of that 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure it out. If this rule comes down to the youth level, which, to be honest with you folks, I think it's going to, we're going to have to figure out, again, how to be efficient in practice. We're going to figure out how do we want to practice from an equipment perspective. We're going to figure out how do we continue to work technique in. But we got the same job that the high school guys have. You got to work technique in. You got to make sure people's hands are placed right, helmets are in the right spot, shoulders are in the right spot, and you have to do all of that without the ability to really make contact.
And that makes our jobs even more important. Absolutely. Until that rule trickles down to us, because now we have to give these kids to these high schools already with the formations and the fundamentals to kind of get past that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been hitting for the last 5 years in pop. So by the time I get to middle school or by the time I get to high school ball, I already know how to break down, square my shoulders, keep my head up and wrap up.
Close the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. That's the first rule. The second rule is actually it's more of an adjustment. So Michigan football, actually, I remember this when I was growing up in Ohio too. So the way that high school football is set up right now is they're in a point system, and it is already pretty much based on your strength of schedule. They've made some adjustment, made some tweaks to it this year, where now that's going to play into 100% pretty much how things play out in the playoffs. So you could be a 10-0 team, you could be a 9-0 team going into the state playoffs and have all road games because you didn't really play anybody to get 9-0. One team I think of that has to deal with this regularly is Cass Tech. Every year, they're a top 10 perennial power in the state.
Right.
Always going to the playoffs. Always has a chance to win the state championship in Division I in the big boy division. But they play well. Last year they actually had a home game and ended up losing to Dearborn, to Fortson, Dearborn. So they typically always have to play on the road because they pretty much play PSL games. And then they play a cup. They play usually one team from Ohio. Yeah. They'll play a big game down at Wayne State. Beginning of the season. But besides that, everything else is PSL, which they usually run through. And their main competition is King every year. They always end up on the road, but it's always because their points are lower than the teams that are playing out in the suburbs and playing against tougher competition. So this year, according to what I read, they're going to try to do a better job of evening that out. But ultimately, it's still going to come down to – it's really going to come down to your strength of schedule, which they're trying to promote that idea that you're going to schedule better games, right? You can't help what's in your conference, but some of these teams play nobody at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like college where you're trying to get that whole strength of schedule, get that ranking up. That's where they're headed now. That won't trickle down to us because we don't have that issue, even though our schedule's totally different this year as well. It's been restructured.
Right.
But
but we got, I don't know how pipelines, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To different schools that we that we suggest our kids go to, or coaches come and talk to our kids, and that definitely affects where they might go.
Absolutely, because now you're gonna play competition. You're gonna play people all year round.
All year round. Their coaches, their new high school coaches, and their high school coaches' relationships, and making those connections with other coaches, try to build the schedule. Because I was hearing another thing too, like certain teams like King who do play teams out of state their first 3 games. Those games aren't going to be ranked because now there's kind of like out of conference, out of state games. So that the strength of those games, even though they might have been great games, and you open up those pipelines for different cities and different states to come in, or you go in and make those relationships, those things don't matter anymore. You got to stick in the PSL and play the hardest teams that you can just to move forward. Yeah,
and King has it tough because they're a D2 team that plays D1 opponents and competes really well. So that's going to make it harder for them to get into some conversations. They, however, have dominated D2 football in the state of Michigan for the last 5 or 10 years. So they're probably not going to suffer as much. Those games they mattered before. It's like now they don't matter. So it's like you got to stay in the state, but you got to play somebody big for it to be worth something. But again, if I'm going to a high school, I want exposure. Those games across state lines, those are huge for me as a young man. I get to go, scouts are there. People are traveling to see these games. And now you guys are making it to where it's not as attractive for a team to do that.
Yeah. Huge non-conference game out of state where a lot of eyes might be on you. Potential huddle film can be out there. Are you dominating?
Right.
Because we always have that debate, why don't you make an SEC team come play in the snow?
Right, exactly.
And see what it's like.
Yep.
And then
come up north.
Come up north and see what it is. And then you get those battles like, hey, this North guy can play down here with the hot weather boys who play, 365. So I think they might be losing out on that. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But
we'll keep talking to the nephews about it and see how they feel about it.
All right. Well, did we pay the bills yet?
We paid one. We
got the bills. Shout out to our sponsor, Mike Bonds Plumbing, both licensed and insured. Bonds Plumbing provides top quality services at great prices, whether it's just getting up the cold waterproof from the daily home services. Call them, man.
313-304-7786.
BondsPlumbing.com has the map that shows everywhere they service. They also have quotes on there, but we suggest that you call Mike Bond himself
at 313-304-7786.
And tell him the guys at Academy Sports Show sent you. He said, hey, those guys over there are the real MVP.
Yeah.
All right, so technical difficulties out the way. We got the local stuff out the way. We appreciate you rocking with us as always. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes. The NFL, the NBA playoffs are on right now. Teams advanced. They're playing already. Couple game ones already out the way. We definitely want to hit the draft. But a couple teams have now moved on. They have been sent packing, as you say, gone fishing. And I just want to get your perspective on what they need to do to take the next step. So a team that was eliminated last week was the Denver Nuggets. They got eliminated by the Portland Trail Blazers in a Game 7, in a close Game 7. Just too much C.J. McCollum in that game.
Woo!
And now
C.J., my man.
They were a 2 seed going into the playoffs.
Yep.
High expectations. I don't think they met the expectations that they set for themselves. That was a back-to-back Game 7s, right? They went to a Game 7 with the Spurs, Game 7 with Portland. I would say that the Joker pretty much – he had a great playoffs.
Yep.
Recorded a couple triple-doubles. Jamal Murray had a couple breakout games. Where do you see this team moving forward? I don't see them having a lot of cap space. They do have a young fella that they drafted last year who didn't play this year because of the back issue, so maybe he plays this year.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Thomas, he tried to make a comeback, but that didn't work out. Where do you see this team moving forward?
Just go back and start and just take a look and start next season afresh and go out and be who you are.
Just run it back.
Oh, run it back, man. This crew, to me, was just 1 year early. That's it.
Okay.
They are a good basketball team. You can't take anything away from them. You got to be 100% proud if you're a Nuggets fan, if you're a Nuggets player. They had a heck of a season. The Joker made his name known, and he's legit. He's solidified. Jamal Murray solidified. Made a good run in the playoffs. Just felt like it was just a little too soon. Experience is a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get it, you cannot put a price tag on it. And I'm gonna be honest with you. 2 Game 7s, you beat the Spurs in Game 7. I had a feeling that Portland was gonna win the series.
Yeah.
I said they were gonna win the series because I wasn't ready to believe in Denver like that, because experience sometimes is all you need. You took a inexperienced Nuggets team and put them up against a Portland team that's been eliminated 2 years in a row.
Who ran it back themselves.
Exactly.
Who got eliminated in the first round.
Yes. Sweat. And
they ran it back. They didn't change their roster.
Right.
Hell, they even had injuries going into it, but they definitely ran it back.
So different. So just a different experience, right? More battle tested and just ready to go. A team like that, they're hard to beat. Hard to beat. Yes, they can get one on the road. They've been there before. They've been in these situations. Denver just hasn't been there yet. And you saw it down the stretch, Game 7, missing shots, turning the ball over. You're missing things they were normally making. Offense gets bogged down. One-on-one basketball, ball starts to stick a little bit. All things that they will learn from. And the next time they find themselves in that situation after a nice long 82-game season, they have a better chance of being successful. That is definitely a team of the future. And that future, it could be very much so next year, because we have no idea what the West looks like in a year.
Very true.
When the 2019-2020 season opens up. We don't know what the Warriors are going to look like. We don't know what the Pelicans are going to look like.
Yeah.
We don't know what the Lakers are going to look like. We know the Blazers will look a certain way. We don't know what OKC's going to look like. But we know the Blazers and we know the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
So those two teams who just played in the conference finals could very well be your conference finalists next year in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I believe that as well. Just running back with this group. You mean Joker already got his money. So this group is together already. And like I said, Murray's there, Gary Harris. I just think they're probably just one veteran away. Like get one veteran that's in the locker room that gets minutes, not somebody that just kind of on the bench, old man kind of doing his thing. But just try to get one veteran in the off season if they can afford it, just to help them as a rotational piece. Probably like a JJ Redick, somebody that can add to their team, a shooter, but also has some veteran leadership, some playoff experience, and I think they are close. Their coach comes from the coaching tree of Pop, so he knows exactly what he's doing. He got to beat his mentor in round one. Just make better adjustments as you move forward. And you got a guy that I really like. Last time we talked, I thought I wanted Portland to win, but I thought Denver was going to win because I thought Denver was going to give. Well, I thought Denver was going to win, but I wanted Portland to win because Portland may have gave a better fight than Denver.
Right.
Due to, they kind of exposed the bigs a little bit in that series, but I look forward to seeing what Denver has to offer. Like you said, they can be a number one seed coming into next year.
Absolutely.
With just piling on those wins. All right, what about Boston? Your boy Scary Terry has been on a publicity tour and can't keep his mouth shut. And one, he felt some type of way about his minutes being reduced, his role being reduced. But as any basketball fan knew, that was going to happen to him once Kyrie and Gordon Hayward came back. Of course, his animosity went towards Kyrie and Gordon Hayward when they went back. They definitely underachieved this year. A lot of questions about Kyrie, questions if they're going to resign Terry Rozier, questions if Jason Tatum is a trading piece for Anthony Davis, questions who's the leader of this team, who's ready to ascend, questions about Gordon Hayward's contract. Where does this team go moving forward? There's a lot of questions about the Boston Celtics.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to something that we do on this show. And I think this is a good moment for it. So we want to introduce you to this sound. Okay. That's the bell.
Yeah.
So just to let you guys know, help you understand.
Remember
what's the bell all about? The bell can be rung at any moment. Okay. For any reason. All right. So sometimes the bell is like an exclamation point. Sometimes the bell is like question mark. Sometimes the bell is like what? Like that was crazy. Like the bell can be anything. You just gotta feel it. Okay. So I just want to introduce you to those in our live feed. We'll let you see it. Look at that bell with the smiley face. Oh, look at that. All right. But if you hear this bell, you just never know. No. It could be for a comment that's made in the comment section. If somebody's trying to say something about what we're talking.
Trolling.
The Boston Celtics. What do they need to do? Throw the whole team away.
Oh God.
All right, ladies and gents.
Come on, man.
Man, you gotta listen. Scary Terry. It's interesting. Questions about Scary Terry's contract. But he's running around, running his mouth on a publicity tour. So much so, I didn't even bother watching. I don't care what Scary Terry's got to say about the Boston Celtics. I know that we want to have drama and we love drama and we want to eat up all this. Whose fault was it and whose fault it wasn't? All right,
somebody's fault.
It is. You know what? I think to an extent, it's probably all their faults. Kyrie was trying to be the leader. It didn't work. But it didn't work. There's two-way street. Those who weren't accepting him as a leader probably had a level of pettiness to the operation as well. So at the end of the day, bad locker room, bad culture. Change things around. Kyrie, go. I think you keep Jason Tatum. I'm sorry. Why trade a Jason Tatum for an AD? Is it because we think maybe Jason Tatum isn't Jason Tatum? Because, yes, did he struggle? But he struggled because he was the third wheel on a team where he should have been the second wheel because Gordon Hayward's not a true number two guy. We knew that when Boston paid the man. Nobody has respected they gave Gordon Hayward $44 million in the free agent. Nobody cared. But we wanted to make a big deal about it because Gordon Hayward. The best thing he had done in Utah was make a couple jump shots. He made a couple 15-footers.
He was a coveted free agent.
Exactly. Everybody wanted this guy. Sir, Kyrie, go to New York.
Well, I say AD because if you do want to run it back with Kyrie, then
you need AD.
You need him. You need AD to start.
Absolutely. You can't. You need AD.
Like,
you can't be done with Jason Tatum.
You go forward with Tatum as your best guy, or you go forward with begging Kyrie to re-sign because you're going to go all in to AD.
Let's just put it like this.
Throw those draft picks out there. Throw Tatum out there.
I don't think, and I said this to you a couple months ago, I don't think Danny Ainge has the guts to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
He likes to sit on.
He's been sitting on these assets for years, and every year is the big story is about what will Danny Ainge do. You know, the NBA is so unpredictable that I would love in a couple of weeks to be saying, I got to eat my words. I'll ring the bell on myself. But listen, what has he done?
Well, like the coveted pick that they got ended up being boo-boo because I think it's like,
Exactly.
what, 14?
14.
So
it could have been all the way up in the top 4. Yeah. It's 14.
So, I mean, if you would have got rid of that a little earlier, it would have been a little more sexier.
If you put it in the AD trade, maybe you'd have AD.
They can trade, during the season because of some rule about Kyrie, but they're trying to put together a package now. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of hard to see where this team goes because a lot of dominoes need to happen first. I don't see Terry Rozier re-signing.
Darn.
After he went on his whole press tour. Kyrie, some say it's a done deal to New York.
Go.
You don't really see that happening.
Run, Kyrie. Get away. He doesn't even play the same offense as Brad Stevens.
Yeah, he's a very ball-dominant guard.
Yeah.
And Boston really flourished on, moving the ball around, getting the best shot.
Because you had nobodies.
So, yeah, and those guys played with house money because they was all rookie young guys. And they just, they were just out there just playing basketball. No egos.
It's time to.
So you definitely let Kyrie go. Let the AD aspirations go. Let Brad Stevens coach a young team because it seems like he's better at coaching young guys than he is in veterans.
Let Al Horford be the vet in the locker room. He's getting overpaid.
There you go. But if you let both of your point guards go, then you got to go out and find a point guard.
Yep. You go out, or you draft one at 14.
Or you draft one at 14. And
there you go.
Young guy in
there you go.
But
they'll go from being top 4 to bottom 4. They'll still make the playoffs. They're not a good team.
Yeah.
And now we need to really, truly find out, is Jason Tatum that guy?
Yeah.
He'll be a young guy on a young team, and then we can find out, is he a ball-dominant, take over, win it in the late minutes? Is he that guy? And then you can decide with all your assets how you want to proceed in the next wave of really good players. You can go there.
Do you watch the podcast with Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson?
I do not.
No. They had one with Kyrie and Jason Tatum, and they asked Kyrie about the call that he made to LeBron and why he made it. He was like, I understand, like, it wasn't my time yet now, but at that time, I felt like it was my time, and Bron wasn't ready to give that to me at that time. So I felt like I had to go get it on my own. And I feel the same. He said, I feel the same way about him pointing at Tatum. Like, when he's ready, I'm going to give it to him. But embedded in that quote was him saying that you're not ready.
Pretty much.
And I found that funny that, like, he said that to him to his face.
Considering he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Considering he called LeBron to say, I get it now.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this. And Jason Tatum knows the truth. He knows the behind the scenes.
And all these things of Kyrie, of Kyrie not being approachable, him being just a funky kind of guy, just a weird kind of guy, I totally believe it.
He is definitely a different
He's
character.
a different cat.
He is. I've heard some podcasts with him involved. He's a different thinker, totally, on and off the court.
Yeah.
Now,
so where did Boston go? I don't know. That's the answer to me. For me, I don't know. I don't say blow it up because you can't blow it up. You got too many young guys.
No, what I mean by that is this experiment of Gordon Hayward and Kyrie and the others. Let Kyrie run. Kyrie go to New York. Gordon Hayward.
Hayward back.
Keep Hayward in.
Yeah.
He ain't that big of a deal, y'all.
No,
so let him play with the young guys. He's young himself.
Yeah.
Shoot a couple jumps.
Just reduce his role.
Yeah, he's not the guy that everybody's trying to force him to be. When did that happen?
You paid a guy that much money, you expect him to be a focal point of your offense.
Your fault.
And I think that's where Brad Stevens, was he getting pressured from Danny Ainge to keep him in the rotation as much? Was he getting pressure to keep him in the starting lineup? Was he respecting the veterans too much and not relying on his acumen and putting Jaylen Brown in more and leaving Gordon Hayward to a reduced role? We'll never know the answer to their questions, but Terry Rozier gave us an insight of why he was frustrated, because he felt like guys were getting minutes when they really didn't deserve it and letting other guys needed a chance to shine, including himself. And he said Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward by name.
Yeah.
Like at that point, he was like, everybody had to conform to the way they play basketball.
Right.
So, and you know, that was the problem. But he should have known that was Kyrie signed, or was Kyrie got traded, that you were going to have to conform to this man. Because
sometimes people don't truly believe that. They really believe that it's going to work, or we're going to work it out, and we're going to come to an understanding and all these things. But, you know, Boston's got to eat this one. I mean, I can see, we'll never know, but I can see there being pressure. I can see those things because at the end of the day, you know, to save face for your franchise, for your fan base, for the media, we got to see this guy playing.
Right.
Y'all paying him all this money.
Right.
He can't sit on the bench.
Right.
So when you know that's the case.
He worked so hard to come back from
And hey, listen, he might be a better player this year because his injury probably takes more than a season to actually get back to his normal self. So he might be a better player. I just still don't recall ever seeing him.
Yeah. One good year. Almost. I don't think he was
good for you. You got paid.
All right, let's move on to the 76ers. These guys, another game 7. Some say they underperformed. They want to see them move past. They added Jimmy Butler, traded some pieces away. Traded a lot of pieces away for Tobias Harris, including the draft pick and some great role players, Mike Scott, all those guys. And they kind of tried to get them to mesh together. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes Embiid was on the three-point line. Sometimes he was in the post. Sometimes he was hurt. Sometimes he wasn't. Sometimes Ben Simmons made a shot. Sometimes he didn't. Sometimes Jimmy Butler was a closer. Sometimes he wasn't. Sometimes Tobias Harris played. Sometimes he didn't. This is a real just sometimes he Philadelphia 76ers. Sometimes Brett Brown was fired. Sometimes he wasn't. Where do you see Philly going from now? Because they got 2 big unrestricted free agents that they need to bring back, you would think, because they gave up so much to get these guys.
Yeah, they're in a really, really tough situation. I would say for them,
the coach is already back.
He's already back. Yep, he's not losing his job. I would say they are a running back squad. Yeah. But to your point, they're the team that has the free agency situation where it's not a, man, we should let them go because it didn't work or anything like that. It's we almost have to sign them because of what we gave up, but because that's our best opportunity to get close or back to where we just were. If you hear them talk about it, you hear Jimmy Butler, he did his end of season interview. He talked about how these guys really stuck up for each other. They had each other's back. They believed in each other. They believed in what they were trying to do. It sounds like there was 100% buy-in. We know it was rocky to start. People had to understand their roles. Clearly, it turned out the way it did because people were in the right spot for the most part. Embiid is not a closer. Right. Embiid needs to stay off the three-point line. But after you watch him play, what you realize is he does not have traditional big man moves.
No, he
has dribble.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So it's like he likes to do a lot of dribbling and penetrating and inside out and Euro stepping and stuff. He's not gonna just catch it on the block and back you down and really go to work on you. So this team has to re-sign their free agents.
Both of them.
They have to. Both of them. At least Jimmy.
Okay.
To me, Jimmy completes the Embiid Simmons situation.
Okay.
Because Jimmy can cover.
Jimmy got sold. Jimmy got.
Here we go.
Sorry, you just kept saying Jimmy got.
I knew it fit 100%. So it's like Jimmy covered for Ben Simmons' lack of shooting at times.
Yes.
But Ben Simmons has to be able to shoot the ball. They will never go where they want to go if he can't make a jumper 38% of the time.
But here's the thing, like Ben Simmons is a good player, but he messes up what you want. Like you want Embiid on the block, but the offense that Ben Simmons runs is penetrate and kick. And he can't penetrate with a 7-foot African in the middle of the paint.
True.
So he has to move out the way. So when he moves to the 3-point line, that's who he's kicking to. That's why he's shooting so much.
Right.
And then when Jimmy gets the ball, he's a slasher. Like I can pull up on you, but I'd rather get to the bucket. I'm Jimmy Buckets. I get buckets. But I can't get to the bucket if there's a 7-foot African in the way with his man guarding.
Right.
So that's why I don't like people giving Embiid so much flack while he's out there. He's out there for a reason. He don't just migrate out there because he don't want to be in the paint.
True. Good point.
The offense dictates that he's outside.
Good point.
When the plays call for him, he puts his butt in the paint and he's there and he gets buckets that way. But sometimes the offense dictates that he goes out. So do you change the way you play, or do you go with your best player? I think that's a really tough decision to make.
I think that Brett Brown needs to rein it in a little bit. And they need a look. They lack offensive structure to me.
Yeah.
Like I never could tell what was actually going on because they have the traditional NBA parts. They got the 7-footer who occasionally can make that shot, but he can definitely shoot the 15 to 18-footer.
He can get you that work in the paint.
And he can definitely work you out. They got a 3-point sniper. They got a slasher who's a closer, or supposed to be anyway. And they've got a 6'10" point guard who can dish.
Yeah.
So to me, they have parts to be able to do what today's NBA is called for.
That should work.
It should work. It can work. Some of them have to grow up in their games, and Brett Brown has to. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and Embiid. I think Embiid has some growing up to do too when he catches the ball on the block. There were days when Embiid looked so disinterested, and part of that could be because of the way the ball moves. But there were just days where he just kept shooting. If one thing they learned in the playoffs, and it was so bad, bro, I turned it off. Game 5, they lost. Embiid just kept shooting the 3. Bro, you missed like 8 in a row. Stop shooting.
I feel like they want him to be Draymond instead of Embiid. Just like sit at the top of the key, ball screen, dribble, ball screen, handoff, ball screen, handoff. You know what I'm saying?
All the more reason as to why they need to come up with a better offensive approach. That's coaching. Players, they need to grow their games up a little bit. I think Embiid and Simmons have some growing to do. Remember, folks, this was the year. I know the process is this and that. But again, really their first time being under this real pressure. Last year, yay. This year, expectations. Again, if you can get everybody back in house, everything that they're saying sounds like they agree. They believe in each other. They're with each other. So you got that. So egos are out of the way. Coaching, you got to come up with a better offensive approach. And they can be back in the same spot or challenge for the crown again if these Bucks don't just continue to ascend.
Here's the thing. To put a ball on Philly, I don't think I think your priority has to be Jimmy. You get buckets in there.
I got to get Jimmy back.
Because in a year, Ben Simmons is up.
Okay.
And that's going to be a contract, right?
Which will be interesting if he can't shoot a jump shot.
So you got to pay him. I think Tobias Harris is the odd man out on this one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you gave up so much for this guy because you
went
all in this year, thinking you were going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, have a chance to compete. But unfortunately, didn't make it. So I think that was it was a waste. Like he's a productive player. You saw his potential more when he was with the Clippers when he had the ball in his hands.
Yes.
Scoring more, rebounding more,
now he was just relegated to shooting.
And now he's a guy looking for his last contract, right? He's not a young guy. He's in the middle of his career right now. He's looking for the contract. And there are teams out there willing to pay this guy the contract. And if I'm Philadelphia, do you really want to pay him the contract or match the contract that somebody like Phoenix or Minnesota or some random Atlanta, some random team is going to pay him? Do you really want to match that knowing that you got to pay him Ben Simmons down the line?
Probably not.
I think you let him go.
Yeah.
I think you let him go because once you get to Simmons, then that's worth getting into the luxury tax.
Yeah.
I don't get into the luxury tax for Tobias Harris. I think he's the odd man out. So with him being the odd man out, that was a horrible trade because you still could have had those pieces and the draft pick moving forward next year.
Yeah, calling it horrible is probably hindsight, right?
Mhm.
I mean, at the time, at the time, thought it was a pretty good move to try to
definitely
do what they were trying to do.
But since you didn't accomplish what you wanted,
so yeah, it ended up backfiring.
It ended up being a bad move.
Yeah.
So I do see Philadelphia probably in the same spot.
Yeah.
Because they only had Tobias Harris for the last 2 months of the season.
Yep.
So they probably do the same thing. And like you said, if they mature in their games, you can see them continue being maybe a 2-3 seed moving forward.
Yeah. The coaching staff's got to come up with something else though.
Depending on how Toronto moves forward with Kawhi, are they still competing next year? You can see them in Milwaukee go at it for like
a few more seasons. Yeah.
And then finally, your favorite team, the Houston Rockets. Where do they go from here? They talk so much and got that tail whoops. Man, we would have beat the Warriors if we had Chris Paul. We would have beat them. James Harden's on a record-breaking career extraordinary season. The Warriors can't hold our jocks. We got the game plan. We're going to beat them. Oh, Kevin Durant's out. Oh, we're really going to beat them now. Where do they go from here?
Listen, I'm so lost. I'm so lost.
Where do they go?
So they seem so like they have zero flexibility. Like
none. You got James Harden locked up. You got Chris Paul locked up. You got Capella locked up.
So this is what you got. So it's interesting. All three of these teams that we're talking, like three of these teams that we're talking about when I give this answer, there's different reasons on how they approach my answer. To me, I said Philly, run it back, but get Jimmy, right? I said
Denver,
run it back because you're just young. You got all the right pieces. You got depth. You got all that, right? Up and coming team, experience going to teach you. Guess what, man? Houston, you're going to have to run it back.
You have no choice.
You have zero. And so that's the third reason of the day to run it back because you can't do anything else. The three guys that are the most important to you are locked up. The guy you miss the most is Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza on that team was just a totally different player. And he changed the dynamic of that team. With him gone, they experienced heartache. They started slow this year. Finally climbed back up into the standings, got into that top four. But at the end of the day, you have zero choice, Houston. You got to do it all again.
Same team.
And guess what? You might get your wish next year because next year it might be the Denver Nuggets instead of the Golden State Warriors.
It might still be.
But it might still be. Listen, if Clay, we know what Steph's going to do. If Clay stays because KD leaves, and this is the product that you're getting, well, you know they believe they can win championships, right? And they can make Clay a $200 million guy? No problem.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. There's no other wiggle room you can do. When you try to move Eric Gordon, he's an essential piece to your team. You try to move Austin Rivers, he's an essential piece to your team. Actually, the guy that you played, Clint Capella, is actually expendable, and the Warriors showed you how expendable he was by negating your lobs. Those lobs only work in the regular season because nobody cares to game plan you that hard to play you one night out of 82 games. But when I play you in a 7-game series, I can lock down on what you do best. Draymond said it after game 2, we shut down the lob. The lob is no more. Like, y'all not getting that from us. And they didn't. So, like I was brought to you, McGrady said, hey, you should play Austin Rivers more. Stretch the floor. Clint Capella wasn't even on the floor. Austin Rivers on the field. And they played a 4-man guard rotation. It was a great adjustment because they won 2 games after that, right? And KD goes down. Ultimate time to snatch what you think is yours. And I don't want to be too hard on him. Jason Harden had a good game. Chris Paul had a good game, like scoring wise. But they just couldn't close the door. They couldn't shut the door.
Did you believe they were
good? Hell no.
Good. All right, just making sure.
They just couldn't shut
when
the door.
When KD went out, I was like, Golden
Yeah,
State's still winning.
they're still Golden State.
Yep.
Because they talk so much trash about their others, but at the end of the day, as long as you got the Splash Brothers and Draymond, it's going to work.
Yep.
It's whatever they do is going to work. They've won like this before. It might take extra games for them to win.
Right.
We'll get to like predictions later. It might take extra games for them to win without Kevin Durant because the other team doesn't have to guard him.
Yep.
So a 4 or 5 game series might be a 6 or 7 game series, but they still gonna win. And if there's a closeout game and Golden State is up, I'm picking Golden State every single time because they got 2 of the clutchest shooters in the history of the game. So no, they had zero chance with me. When everybody was saying Houston was gonna win, I was sitting in Florida going, they're gonna lose. And they're gonna lose bad. Because if Steph Curry gets 0 points and a half and it's tied,
right,
you didn't take advantage of your situation.
That's right.
You sure didn't. Because that boy lighted your butt up.
Yep.
So yeah, they have no choice but to run it back.
Run it back.
All right. So before we get to the playoffs, we have game 1 of the Bucks in Toronto that just played yesterday. Day before was Portland and Golden State. Today is game 2 of Portland and Golden State. It's going on behind us if you were with us on YouTube.
29-25 Portland.
But I want to get your reaction on the draft lottery. They made this into a spectacle. I don't remember seeing prospects at the lottery.
Yeah, that was a first for me too. I can't recall. And maybe somebody will have to help us with that one. And maybe that's just something we missed. But I don't recall that.
Like getting a live shot of a prospect that's like I don't remember that. Like when those guys were on the jump, I was like, they're there? Like that was really weird to me. But
the NBA has their way.
They have their ways to make things so dramatic.
Yes. And so opera.
So like just leading up to that, I feel this Zion is projected as number 1. He's the marquee guy on this roster, right?
Yep.
Of all these draft picks. RJ Barrett was the guy, got overshadowed. Even John Morant came in and stole a draft spot from him. Watching him and Zion being interviewed together and all the questions go to Zion and him just sitting there, I feel bad for the kid. I do. I really do. I really feel bad for the kid, but he held it with great grace. And then the ping pong balls start dropping.
Yep.
And once it got to those 5 picks, we started texting. Like, oh my God. They are rigging this for the Lakers.
Oh my God! I thought so.
Came out to the Lakers, thought that was happening. Memphis and New Orleans. Yes. I'm like, they about to give the Lakers a top 3 pick. Yep. They're gonna give the Lakers Zion. Oh my God! Oh my God! They're going to do this.
LeBron and Zion
train is going strong right now.
Oh man!
Oh, we was going crazy.
Yeah, I was nervous. I was there because I had a horse in the race. Like, I'll be honest with you. My team had a 14% chance to get Zion. Okay. So as it played out, I quickly became disappointed. Oh, no, 5. I'm looking like there's nobody at number 5. Like usually in the past years, it's a good pick. But man, when I saw the Lakers up there.
And then they gave you that commercial break.
Yes. Dude, Stephen A's rant about that was hilarious. But listen, I thought for sure, I said, oh, this is about to be rigged. I'm thinking like, Zion to LA? Are you kidding me? Like, are we really going to just make the Lakers relevant again just like that?
Just going to do it right there with one ping pong ball.
But I'm happy that didn't happen.
I'm so disappointed that didn't happen.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that would have been such a great storyline. That would have been so awesome that they had this chip that they could use. And the whole storyline leading up to free agency would be, do they keep Zion or do they trade up for AD? Do you keep Zion or do you trade up for AD? Like, that would have been so epic to see what would have went down. Like, do you give up Zion and other pieces? Or are the Pelicans asking for too much for AD? You already got Zion. You want Kuzma too? You want that first round? That would have been such a great TV to watch for next month.
So annoying.
I would have absolutely loved it. But no. The New Orleans Pelicans, the number 1 pick. What kind of unrigged crap is that? Come on, Adam Silver. Have a little bit of David Stern in you. Just,
Yes.
just bring it a little bit.
Just a
Just,
tad.
just a tad. Come on, Adam Silver. You ain't gotta be that good of a guy.
Like, we really couldn't get Zion in New York.
Come on, man. New York, LA, Memphis, and New Orleans.
Yep.
Nobody wants to watch that crap.
Zion to New Orleans, and most likely Ja Morant to Memphis.
I don't want to see that.
I really don't. To me, if both of those players get drafted by those teams, you can guarantee they're leaving their franchise
in 5 years.
When that free agency contract comes up, they're bolting
Yeah.
to play together with RJ Barrett, probably.
So RJ Barrett, New York.
The presumptuous number 3 pick.
So if you're a
to New
Knicks
York.
fan, you didn't get Mount Zion. You
No.
didn't get it,
You did not.
but you're getting a good player.
Yes, you are. He was the number 1 pick last year until Zion showed up on the scene. So everybody had this guy RJ as the number 1 pick for this year. Zion shows up, dominates the college basketball arena, and now you guys know the rest of the story. If you're a Knicks fan, hey, listen, you didn't end up at like 6 or 7. You ended up at 3.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a good player. You're going to get a player who could still change your franchise.
Yep.
He's got a little more polish that he needs on his jump shot.
Yep.
The kid's a defender.
He's a
Great
tweener.
kid.
Is he a point guard or is he a shooting guard?
Yeah, they're saying he's a shooting guard, but it seems like he's in between. So again, kind of what does that look like on the Knicks? I don't know.
he
That
plays-
you got Dennis
Play with
Smith
Dennis
Jr.
Smith, 1 and 2.
I think that's a nice young combo.
Oh.
I like that. Nice young combo. And they're still going to be one piece away.
Okay.
I mean, they're still going to be another draft away, another 2 drafts away, because the rest of that team's not going to be very good. Sorry,
So,
Knicks fans.
I was looking at it. What if Zion and RJ gets to play on New Orleans together? Let's say the
RJ or AD?
RJ.
How do we? Okay, so how do we?
Let's
see
say the Knicks say, "Hey, New Orleans, we'll give you our 3rd pick, which would be RJ Barrett.
that. Okay.
Some other picks,
Okay.
whoever else you want
Uh-huh.
for AD. AD goes to the Knicks. RJ Barrett goes to New Orleans.
So we can say. You want me to say, is that possible, or you want to just talk hypothetical? What if?
Both.
I don't think it's possible. First of all, to me,
You get 2 young guys, and
Oh.
let's say they throw in Knox. So you go Drew Holiday, maybe starting point guard, RJ Barrett, Knox at 3, Zion at 4. Super young team, future of New Orleans, and then you got rid of the AD thing. Play Julius Randle at the 5.
there's no way. To me, if you are the Knicks, you do not. No.
You don't trade Barrett for AD? Come on, bro. You got to pull the trigger on that every time.
AD. So
Unknown commodity versus a top 5 player. If he gives you reassurance that he'll re-sign with you,
and then what does AD do in New York? Who they put?
he
with him?
pairs with Kyrie and KD,
Oh,
who come
yes.
in the offseason.
Oh yeah, wait a minute. I got this reversed in my head the wrong way. I'm sorry. AD to the Knicks
Yeah,
for RJ.
yep. Kevin Knox and whatever other picks they want.
AD to the Knicks. So the Knicks would have to give up
Their 3rd pick, which would be RJ.
RJ, Knox,
Yeah.
and a bunch of
So,
bad people.
Yeah, it's a 1 pick.
And if you're New Orleans, you would have RJ and Zion together with
Yep.
Drew Holiday.
and Kevin Knox.
And yeah, that's real. Okay, I like that. I like the way that sounds because you're New York. You got AD and then KD and Kyrie
go.
show up.
Both
Oh,
franchises
God.
prosper.
Oh God! Oh man! Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
So New Orleans can put out a lineup: Drew Holiday, RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, Zion Williamson, Julius Randle starting.
I like that. I like that. I do. Let the young fellas eat. Let them
the
grow.
young fellas eat.
I like that. And let's enjoy the AD Kyrie and KD in New York.
Yeah, big three in New York.
They are the Eastern Conference champions.
Crown them.
You got to crown that team. Oh man, you got to crown that team. Oh, I would love that. I would
Because
love that.
do you need the reassurance that he's going to resign before you pull that trigger?
Yes.
Because you're just giving up Barrett.
No. Yes, because you're already bad.
Right.
You don't get worse for him for 1 year rental.
But you're getting a max on Kyrie and a max on KD
Okay, so here's the thing.
and a 1 year on AD.
Are we 100? So if you're strong on,
I think KD to the Knicks is done.
see, I think
Kyrie,
I think Kyrie to the Knicks is done.
I'm wavering on that.
So I tend to trust Stephen A. And he says, according to the people he's talking to that are close to Kyrie, there's no way he's going to LA.
We already said he's a different kind of cat. He can switch up.
No way he's going to LA.
He can switch up. LeBron can call like, please don't.
There's no way he's going to LA.
Please don't.
I don't see it.
Help me out though.
I think he's the one that's for sure locked in New York.
I know. I think Kevin.
Dad's in New York. Family's in New York, New Jersey area. He's locked in. I don't know about Kevin Durant. That's the guy I don't know about. Is Kevin Durant done in Golden State? Yes. But where
There's nowhere else for him to go but the Knicks.
I don't know.
There's nowhere else.
Does he go to Clippers?
No. You don't go to the Clippers.
Leader of men.
You don't go. You suck so bad. He's not going to the Clippers. He's not going to Brooklyn. He's going to the Knicks.
Okay. If you're the Knicks and you have those two pieces in play, then yeah, you take that 1 year rental. Because you have a very good chance of winning.
Well, you got
a championship with that 1 year.
You gotta trade it before you pick it. Because remember, if you pick it, then you gotta wait. Remember the Wiggins thing? You gotta wait 60 days or 3 months, whatever, after the pick, the trade.
Oh, so how they got Kevin Love?
Yeah. So you want to sit there and wait.
You'll still have him about the end of the season.
RJ stewing, and now the signing deadline moved up from July 1st.
It did.
So,
which means you
want these two guys to know that AD's already there before you sign.
You could probably trade sooner then. If the signing deadline.
That's what I'm saying. Get the trade done already. Like get the trade done. Get AD there. So by the time it's 12:01 or whatever day they moved it up to, you call AD or you call Kevin Durant. We already got Anthony Davis. You in? Cool. All right. Let me call Kyrie. Hey, we got KD and Anthony Davis. You in? All right. Cool. Super team.
Yeah, you're right. That's definitely very persuasive. That's very powerful. It's a power play for sure. You take the rental. You definitely take the rental because you are probably looking at an NBA Finals appearance.
Mm-hmm.
With AD, KD, and Kyrie, you are looking at a Finals appearance.
Because the Bucks will be the same.
The Bucks will be the same.
Kyrie will probably be in Brooklyn or the Clippers. 2% LA.
Go
Lakers.
for it. He's not going to LA.
So
Knicks all the way.
The Raptors will drop next year.
Yep.
Philadelphia's still trying to figure it out.
Take the rental.
Take the rental.
Yeah, for sure. You take the rental if you have those two guys. But you got to take that chance to make the trade.
Even if
you can probably get AD and KD and still make some noise.
If AD leaves, you lost Barrett and Knox, but you still got
KD and Kyrie. Oh, absolutely.
So you don't really feel that blow like that.
That's exactly why I'm saying take the rental. You take the rental because even if he leaves, you still got two max bona fide all-stars that are still enough in the East to carry you to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe further.
So if you're the Lakers, make a better offer.
Sir, listen, the Lakers are so dysfunctional. The Lakers are not. Listen, call me wrong about this in 3 months if this changes. But I'm ready right now to bet on it. The Lakers are horribly ran. Linda Rambis is in charge, or whatever her name is. Kitty Rambis is in charge. They're hiring coaches and then hiring assistants to be the next coach, all right there. And Frank Vogel must have needed some millions in his pocket because he took the job. This is the most dysfunctional team I've ever seen.
I need some millions. Hey, I wish you,
I'll
Frank.
take it. Yeah.
I wish you, Frank. Take that job, man.
It ain't happening. Now, listen. Here, I think that, I'm going to be honest, I still think the Kawhi to California is still in play.
Yeah, I think he's a Clipper.
Yeah, so there's that. listen, AD could still end up in 2 years, in 2 seasons
as a Laker.
as a Laker.
Yep.
So there's still time for them, but they're so dysfunctional. I don't see how they get in this. I don't see how they make a play.
Is there a better, like New York is 3, they're 4, but is there a better package that they can give that'll outplay what we just did the New York thing?
LeBron.
No.
Because
you give up 4, Kuzma, BI, Lonzo.
You couldn't give them up to get AD.
Yeah, but now you're giving them a 4. So now they're picking 1 and 4. But 1 and 3 sounds a lot better.
Not happening.
Because this draft is top heavy.
And after 3, it's done.
Yeah.
It's not done.
It's not done.
4, 5, 6, 7. The
Garland kid.
and the kid from
Culver
Virginia.
kid from Texas Tech.
Yeah, there's some players. Okay. No. If I could get RJ and Zion, I'm taking it.
On the same team again? That's
I'm
sick.
taking it. I'm not taking what the Lakers have. Because the Lakers players, minus LeBron, were a 32-win team. And LeBron, they were a 32-win team. There's nothing about them that says, let's make it happen. Hey, Tiff. It's nothing like that.
And then Kuz and Zion play the same, bro. Play the same position.
I'm not seeing it. The Lakers are so dysfunctional. It's starting to become enjoyable to watch. I'm starting to enjoy watching it.
Oh, wow. Very exciting. Yeah, okay. All right, so anything from the draft? Anything else? Am I missing anything?
I was sad for a moment that my Cavaliers didn't get a pick, but I'm not surprised because
where you at?
We're at 5. We're projected to take a
getting
kid out of Virginia.
You're getting a Texas Tech.
Okay.
You need a 3.
Cool. Awesome. Great. Great.
Because the Lakers are taking the Vanderbilt kid, right? Garland.
Supposedly the Lakers are taking him, and everything I've seen has Cavaliers taking the kid out of Virginia.
The big kid?
The long as a 3.
He's a 3?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, see. That'll be my next top 5.
Yeah, he's the kid that made the shot in the Virginia game that pushed them into the.
I think Texas Tech kid is better.
Yeah, me too. A better pro.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think that's a ball on the. I come on, Adam Silver. Just have a little stern in you, bro. Just a little bit. You could have gave the Lakers one more ping pong up. Gave them a 3, I would have been happy.
Well, in 10 years, maybe he'll get another chance. The next generation of player comes along.
Yo, and then there was this too. You think LeBron should ask for a trade?
No. First of all, to where?
To Brooklyn.
It had gotten to the point, really, for LeBron,
back to East,
that when he was in Cleveland, you knew his next place was it. And the only place that literally made sense was the Lakers.
But they're spoiling his. They ruined his 16th season.
They have definitely.
So what are they gonna do to his 17th?
Dude, I told you this. I said I don't want to see this happen.
But he said, you saw the shop, right?
Yeah.
He said, from a guy in his 16th season, you pitching me a progress, and I don't really do rebuilds. I don't really do slumps. He still went for it.
So now you're gonna be a 17-year vet saying trade me?
Yes. Why did this man put a no trade clause in his contract? I don't. Come on, LeBron. How you doing?
Because he wants to have the power, right?
The power is having a no trade clause.
Does he have one?
No.
Well, he also is LeBron.
Yeah, stupid thinking.
He's not gonna get traded.
Okay, it's the Lakers. You just said they're the most dysfunctional. They'll be the one organization that trades all-time great player.
Bro,
Listen.
I don't know what I would do on this show.
Jeannie Buss trades LeBron to the New Orleans Pelicans.
For Zion,
that's a good trade.
For Zion Wilson, yay! They got another rookie, and they can win 30 more games.
Yeah. All right. To the playoffs at hand. First, we saw. Well, since this game is going on right now, let's do the East. Bucks, Raptors. What'd you see? What'd you like? Raptors winning most of the game. Bucks came back. Hey, Brook Lopez, you're still a viable NBA player.
Pretty good.
Greek Freak did his thing. Nothing too overly crazy. I mean, what was like 30 plus with 16 rebounds. Greek Freak stuff.
Didn't shoot well though.
Yeah, he shot the three though. I saw him pull
He
up.
made a couple good
I
threes.
saw him pull up.
But he only shot like 7 for 24. Like he really didn't shoot well.
So I
Percentage
mean,
was low.
they stacked the paint. Fat Lowry had a good game, but he only scored 2 points.
Way to go, playoff. No, he had 14 in the fourth.
Yeah,
the rest of his team had 3.
Okay. So what do you take from that? Is it Paul Pierce? This is over.
I hate that line, so I can't associate
Toronto
myself
gave them
with
their
them.
best shot. And they lost.
I think Toronto did give them their best shot, though. I think Toronto can only defend in this like quasi zone they tried to play. I think that's the only thing they have. I think Siakam cannot guard him by himself, so there's going to be a lot of crowding the paint and a lot of making him make difficult shots, which we saw him adjust against Boston.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work against him for 4 games. They have shooters, and I'm going to take the words of JoJo on this one. I said, JoJo, how does this series play out?
Mm-hmm.
And he disrespectfully said 4-1 Milwaukee.
Mm.
And I was like, dang, you don't give Kawhi or not. He's like, who's going to check Giannis? And the problem is not only who's going to check him, but when you do try to check him and he gives up the rock because he does not hesitate to pass.
Mm-hmm.
He will pass. If Brook Lopez is going to make shots,
Mm-hmm.
and
Lopez was making shots.
He was making shots, sir. And so if he's going to shoot it, and Bledsoe's going to shoot it, and Chris Middleton's going to shoot it, this team looks unstoppable in the East.
Mm-hmm.
I'm riding with JoJo on this. Milwaukee 4, Toronto, the proverbial game 3 shift. You get the win, and the misery of Toronto Raptors playoff basketball continues. And I'm gonna enjoy watching.
Listen, they gave him their best shot. Here's one thing that I've noticed. I don't think I said it on the show. I always thought about Nick Nurse in Toronto. He's not the best in-game strategist.
Right.
He has like a game plan, and he sticks to
And
it.
they stick to it. Yep.
Now, this game, I'm not going to fault him for changing his game plan because they was winning most of the game. You going to halftime winning.
10, bro. There's third quarter.
Yeah, there's no reason for you to go out your way. But when it gets to crunch time and you think things are waning, it's probably time to make some kind of adjustment, right?
Yep.
He is a good, though, next game adjuster. So I'm picking Toronto in the next game.
Okay.
But for me, that's their one.
Okay.
Because we've seen the Bucks play the same way everywhere they go. I don't think home court advantage.
Right.
It is, they'll care. They don't care about that.
Absolutely.
So anywhere they go, they can play Bucks basketball.
Right.
And since he's surrounded by such great shooters, they're going to have a down game, but you can't bank on Giannis and Chris Middleton and Brogdon and George Hill and all these guys that have bad games all at the same time.
Right.
They're just a loaded team. They play well. They know what they do well. Most of the teams, look at Golden State, teams that know what they do well have the laurels to rest on.
Yep.
So they're going to rest on them. The thing about Toronto, it's just awful. Kawhi shooting like 30 shots and scoring 30 points. Like, hey, the only guy to average 30 points through all these games. He's shooting like 30 shots a game.
Absolutely.
So you're living and dying with this guy. The adjustment, some people say it's playing Serge Ibaka more. I don't agree with that because Marc Gasol kept you in that game too because he can shoot the 3. Serge can shoot it, but Marc can shoot it better. What the problem was Marc Gasol wasn't getting his butt out the paint and putting a hand up.
You got to guard. Exactly. You got to come out to the 3-point line. He ain't doing that.
He wasn't doing that.
He's not going to do it.
So what you need to do on defense, you need to switch him to somebody that's going to stick to the paint. And whoever the 4 is, Middleton or whoever, needs to go guard Brook Lopez on the defensive round. Because putting him, you don't see the adjustment from Milwaukee putting Middleton on the block with Lopez. He's just going to stay out there.
Yeah, Milwaukee's just going to go small.
The guys like this always have this game, right? The booby game.
Yep.
Where the random guy goes off.
Yeah.
Right? This was Brook Lopez's game. He's not scoring 29 points in this game.
No.
He's going to score 7.
Okay. A little disrespectful.
I'm just saying.
He's had a great season.
They all have these games, and then the cameras on him for that next game. Will he do it? 7 points, 7 rebounds, 6 fouls.
We will see.
So that's what I think. I think the Raptors do have a great adjustment for the next game. They win that game, but at the end of the day, the Bucks just keep rolling because they know who they are.
Yeah.
And they just get up on these games. 4-1, disrespectful. 4-2 sounds a lot better. But I want this over with so I can see Bucks Warriors.
Yeah. 4-1 is where I'm headed.
Is where you're at?
Yeah.
So
I don't even think the adjustment's going to help them. Because if you adjust, it's just going to be Giannis in the paint dominating instead of Giannis dishing it.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't see it.
And you also have to have the will to guard Giannis.
And like they don't even have the personnel to guard.
Yeah, like their whole thing, make a wall. Every time the dribbles, make a wall.
That's what every team's gonna do, though.
But we find out that teams can't do that on a consistent basis.
Exactly.
He wears you down because he just keeps coming.
Exactly.
Over and over again. Every game, every possession, every minute, every quarter, he's coming hard at you.
Yep.
And you're gonna break every once in a while. And he's gonna get his bunnies. He's gonna get his kickouts because nobody can play that defense for that long.
Yeah, Lowry and Kawhi are going to have. I think are going to have one big game together. I think it'll be at home, and because it's at home, it will give them the momentum to get over the 1-game hump.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't.
They need Danny.
I think
Green
even
or
Kawhi. I think Kawhi will return to his regular form, and they still won't be able to beat him.
Yeah. Same. All right, now to the main event, I guess.
Right.
Right now, the score is 56 to 43.
I'm not surprised.
In the second quarter.
I'm not surprised.
Your thoughts on that game where they just left Steph Curry open to beat him?
I thought Portland had a Game 7 hangover. I thought they played 2 nights ago. Game 7 hangover. Poor legs. Didn't get out to shooters. Poor defense on the ball screens. Turned the ball over a lot. Shots weren't falling. It looked like a team that was tired, lacked the necessary level of focus that was needed in this game. It's one of those escape getaway games where you just played 2 nights ago and gave 7 games and emotional energy and everything. They had 0 shoot around that day because of the timing of the start of the game. So just everything's off. They need to get themselves adjusted to the series. Once they do, I think you're looking at a different situation. But that first game, I chalk that up to me to Game 7 hangover.
Curry gave him that work.
Yeah, absolutely. The Warriors are going to be the Warriors this series that we recognize from before KD. No doubt about it. The question is, who's going to win the series?
So here's the thing. So Steph had a game, and Clay had a good game too.
Yep.
But here's the thing about Steph that we are coming to find out. He's not always the best playoff performer.
No.
He has lulls.
Yep.
And they usually last for about 2-3 games.
Yep.
And then you remember who he is. A random game, he wants to score 33 points in the fourth quarter or something like that, right? So without looking at the stats behind us, because we don't have them in front of me, I'm pretty sure Steph is having one of those games right now.
Just because they're down by 10?
Just because they're down, yeah.
Okay.
So I think the whole
– we got the internet, so.
I think the whole can they win without KD thing is ridiculous because, yeah, they can remember how to play with just the Splash Brothers, but if they want to win a championship, they need Kevin Durant, to be completely honest with you. And it helps them, not even offensively, to have him on the floor, but, well, yeah, offensively, because the other team has to guard him on offense. Like somebody has to do a primary job of guarding Kevin Durant. And that within itself is you have the game plan for it. Like just having him on the court. So I think that's absolutely asinine for people to say that they don't need Kevin Durant to win a championship. To beat the Portland Trailblazers, though, like I said, they can win series with just the Splash Brothers. It's just going to take extra games.
Okay.
So I don't want my initial thing was the Paul Pierce this one. It's over.
Oh, heck no.
It was the Paul Pierce.
Oh, my God.
I was going to Paul.
That would have been such a knee jerk. I would have killed you for that on this show. I know, been such a knee-jerk
I was
reaction.
gonna Paul Pierce
This ain't the same Portland Trailblazers.
if they kind of feel like
Man, they had one bad game. You have to consider they came off of Game 7.
yeah, but
You have to consider it. No, bro.
when I say it's Portland, it feels like yeah, but it's James Harden.
No, bro. No way. That Portland would have lost in the Denver series. This ain't your same
Yeah, but
Portland.
you said it was youth though that they beat
But-
a youthful team. But now they're going against the Warriors.
But the old Portland would have lost to that youthful team. This is not the same Portland.
It's the Warriors.
Okay.
I'm so conditioned right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I'm so conditioned right now
I'm
that
surprised.
I don't think
You were ready to go
I don't
that
think
far,
Michael Jordan himself can beat these Warriors.
sir. You were ready to go that far. You couldn't say that about the Toronto Milwaukee series. If there's a
It's the
series to
East.
beat Paul Pierce, that's the series.
It's the East. You know that'll go 7 games just because it's in the Eastern Conference.
Man.
But
Well,
I feel like it's over.
sir,
What's Steph shooting?
Steph is shooting 5 for 8 from the field with 17 points.
That ain't bad at all.
No,
So who's sucking?
nobody else is in double figures. Draymond has
Klay?
8. Clay has 9. Draymond has 8.
3 for 11. Dang, Clay. You messing up.
Yep, he's 3 for 11. Iguodala's 0 for 3 with no points. Bogan, no points. Nobody on the bench has scored more than 5 points.
Okay, so it's all carried.
And CJ McCollum has 16. Lillard has 4. Cantor 4. Harkless 8. Aminu 9.
Okay.
And Hood 7 off the bench.
Big-
Sir, I cannot believe you just said that.
I felt like after watching that game, I felt like I wanted to Paul Pierce this.
Wow.
So I'm gonna rein it back after you shame me. And I'm gonna give Portland 2 games instead of 1.
Gotcha.
So I don't know which 2 games, but aren't you just so conditioned in this era of Golden State Warriors to where it don't matter. It doesn't matter how good you are, how good you look, how good you play. You're gonna lose.
Sir,
You're gonna lose.
I was conditioned like
You're
that.
gonna lose.
No, I was conditioned like that when KD was playing.
But you're still gonna lose.
I'm not conditioned like that anymore. They don't have the same depth that they had when they won 73 games without KD. Like back when this was the Splash Brothers and they were running through the teams and they were balling out, they were deep.
Bro.
Their bench was deep.
Then
They don't have it.
Then you just see them beat Houston with a lineup of Klay Thompson, Kevon Looney, Darius Miles,
Did you ever believe it? You never.
Antoine Walker,
You never.
Keon Doolin, and other random people.
You never believed in Houston, sir. You never thought Houston was going
What?
to win.
But
And it was more because you knew Houston.
who really believes in Portland, though?
Sir,
Like, who?
this is
like,
not
it's
the
Portland.
same team.
You talk about how many times Houston got knocked out by Golden State. Let's talk about how many times Portland got knocked out by Golden State.
What I
It's
tell
just
you,
as much.
what I say, experience is a teacher, sir. You were about to Paul Pierce this series
I'm
on a
convinced.
team coming off of a Game 7
I'm conditioned.
low. Okay.
Can I Paul Pierce it with a 5-game?
Do what you want to do.
Is that a Paul Pierce or
You're-
is it
you're-
a sweep of Paul Pierce?
A sweep is a Paul Pierce. It's over. A gentleman's sweep is a 5-gamer. Call
Okay,
it.
yeah, gentlemen sweep.
Your show.
Huzzah.
All right, you're held accountable for
I
it.
am because they're the Warriors. It's just things that happen. You know, the sun comes up, the grass is green, the birds chirp, the Warriors win championships. That's just what happens. This is how the world spins.
Okay.
What gives you so much? So you picking Portland to win the series?
Portland's winning the series in
Get
7.
the easy out of
Portland's winning the series.
You're
in 7.
wrong.
Portland's winning the series.
You're wrong. Listen to me. Listen to the passion in my voice as your friend. I feel like you remember when you kept picking Cleveland to win. With
Yeah,
KD
sooner or later,
Jones?
I said it though. I said I'm a homer in this, but I
And
know
I kept telling you like you're making
No.
the wrong decision.
in the
right now.
third,
You're not
in
understanding.
the trilogy, I picked the Warriors.
You're
sir.
not understanding what's happening right
In
now.
the trilogy, I picked the Warriors.
There's a Warriors.
They're not the same team. I'm sorry, they're
Hmm.
not the same team. So yeah, I know you're in this cloudy haze. They're the Warriors.
I'm in it.
They are a different team minus KD and 0 bench, sir. 0 bench.
Right.
Can you win one important game? Absolutely. I even said that last series.
They won 2.
I knew. No, listen. Last series, I knew they could win that series because they were up 3-1 when KD went down. So, in other words, they only needed to win one game.
Right.
So they had to bet. They needed one out of the next 3 games.
2.
It was 2. It was they were up 3-1. So when Game 4 ended,
that was up 3-2 because Houston won both home games.
okay.
That was Game 6.
So they won Game 5, right? KD goes down in Game 5.
Yeah, they play half a game.
They play half a game. Okay. So that wasn't a shock because, yes, you can do that. So you had 2 games remaining, and you have the defending champs, the 2-time defending world champs.
Same team we're talking about now.
I understand that.
Portland.
That needed to win one game.
Okay.
I had no doubt that they could win one game.
Okay.
But to now come into this series, and you have to play a whole series with this team, the Golden State Warriors are really, really good.
Yes.
But I am not in the haze of it's just the Warriors anymore because to me, what made them just the Warriors, regardless of their depth, was KD.
Okay, KD comes back Game 3. Change your mind?
Ask me that in Game 4. Because I got to see KD play in Game 3. I don't know. What does he come back? 60%?
So
80%?
So you're
Does
Portland.
he come back 100%?
You're Portland in 6. Is
Hold
without
on.
Kevin Durant.
Hold on. Whoa there. I said Portland in 7. Portland in 7.
Okay.
Portland in 7.
Sure.
Portland's going to win Game 7.
He
Wins
said
Game
6.
7 in Golden State.
Okay.
You can rewind and take. I said 7.
So Portland is 7.
Portland is
Is
7.
KD not playing any of these games?
Portland in 7 is no KD.
Okay.
Warriors versus Portland.
Gotcha.
And to me, Portland has more depth. And Golden State's depth is going to come back to haunt them. They're literally
It's
playing
2-2.
a 7-man rotation.
KD comes back Game 5. Still thinking Portland in 7?
Yes, because I would say ask me that in Game 6. Because I need to see KD. What KD do we get back?
Any KD can beat these Blazers.
We'll see.
That's just what it is, bro. Like
We'll see.
you in that fog again.
No, I'm not.
I understand
You're in the
why.
fall.
No, I'm with
I made a strong case for Portland in 7.
Anybody would say the Golden State Warriors are beating Portland Trail Blazers.
Hey, you know,
Outside of
Kenny and Charles
the
agree with me.
Northeast.
Kenny and Charles
Charles has
agree.
been picking Portland since the beginning of the year, so he got to ride with it.
Kenny and Charles agree with me. I'm just saying.
When's the last time you ever used Charles Barkley as validation to your point?
I've never used it. Leonard says, "What's up, Leonard? Thanks for joining us. New subscriber alert." He says they don't need KD.
They don't.
I hear
Not
y'all.
to beat Portland. Now, when they go up against the Bucks, get KD. That'll help you win
You're
the
being
championship.
disrespectful
It's
to Portland.
Portland.
They have proven that they are not the same team. This is a different squad. I'm going out on a limb. That's what this show is all about. We can't always say and agree with each other or what the masses say. I'm being different. And I'm not just doing it because I love my team, because that's what I did one year for the Cavs. But that third trilogy year, I said, Golden State's going to win this series. against my
Portland
team.
had an easy
This is not
road
sir.
and made it difficult. They played against OKC when Paul George and Russell Westbrook was hurt. I told you after that series, it's going to come out that Paul George needed surgery on his shoulder, right? 2 weeks later, they both got surgery on their shoulders.
womp, womp, womp.
And then you barely got passed up. Then you played this uber young team that you said yourself, and they barely got past them in 7 games. So you're telling
That
me
young team was a really good team. Man.
that they're going to get past the Golden State Warriors, KD or not?
No, that's not what I
It's
said.
not going to happen.
How do you change what I said?
You said Portland's going to get
KD
past
or not? I did not say KD
Okay.
or not.
or not KD.
The current
Or not. Yeah, your hedge
roster.
Hedge it.
So let me guess.
Hedge
Wait,
it.
hold on, I got a question.
Hedge it.
I don't have to hedge it. I said this to start.
Hedge it.
Minus KD, Portland in 7. I already said that.
Yeah.
That's how I. But let me ask you something. Since we're so big on this moment, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So you just said this game tonight, Steph's probably shooting like crap.
I thought so, yeah.
So and you did that because your belief in Golden State is what it is.
Yeah.
And so therefore, if if Portland's up, it's got to be because Curry's not shooting well.
That was my mindset.
It's halftime, sir.
Yes.
And Curry has 19 points.
Yes. He's having a good game.
And the Warriors are down 15.
And what else? What is everybody else doing?
Nothing.
Okay. So somebody's having a bad game. I was wrong about who was having a bad game.
Listen, this.
I'm sorry that I got the person wrong.
This further proves my point, sir.
Curry was having a good game.
Listen,
Everybody else sucks this game.
This further proves my point that everybody else issue is gonna hurt this team. Here's why. Klay has not been himself. He's sparking, yes. He looking like the old Klay. Hold on. Let's see it happen. Let's see him be consistent. But first, the biggest piece to me boils down to this: the guy that steadies them, the guy that's the pacer.
That's true.
The guy that if Steph is off,
that is true,
and Klay is off,
that is true.
He's gonna give them 40 every night.
That is true.
It's KD. Without KD, and you just said,
okay,
we know that Curry is due for a slump every series, 2 or 3 games. So if he slumps in game 3, 4, or 5, or game 4, 5, and 6, Klay and Draymond are not enough, sir.
Okay.
And you can't. There's no way you could justify for me that, especially 2019 Draymond. It's not enough to beat Portland.
You want me to?
Dame and CJ playing the way they're playing.
They play like trash game 1.
Game 7 hangover. I already spoke to that.
But you said the way they playing. I'm telling you how they play. They play like garbage. Okay? Listen. He said, Leonard says 15 is nothing. They're a halftime team.
They're a second half team. They are a third quarter
after this game.
Okay. Absolutely.
Don't push all the chips in now, because
no,
the third quarter ain't happening yet.
No, I'm not pushing the chips in. I just wanted to point out I'm not leaning on this as validation for what I'm saying. I'm leaning on it because of what you said about Curry and your justification for why you're in this Warriors fall.
It is.
If he goes and slumps for 2 or 3 games, like we know he probably will,
he might.
Who saves them?
Klay Thompson and the Golden State Warriors.
Okay. All right.
Listen,
you said it.
Who says? First of all, Dame ain't had a good season or series yet.
He played. It's 1 game.
And what's his point total in this game? Since you want to point out my point totals, how is he playing this game? 4 points, man. 1 for 5 shooting.
No, sir. Dame Lillard closed the first half on a spree. He's got 10 now.
Oh, 10 and 1.
He's got more than the rest of the Warriors.
1/2. Okay, listen. On what shooting?
He's shooting 3 for 6.
Yeah.
50%.
All right. I listen.
Hey, wait a minute. No, don't just push my stats.
I'm pushing it.
All right. He's shooting 50%.
I'm pushing it.
50% from
He's not aggressive right now. He's not aggressive in these.
You haven't even seen the game. The game's been behind us the whole night.
Listen, bro. Here's the thing. I gotta go, but I'm just gonna leave it at this. They're the Golden State Warriors, and they always win.
I don't expect you to change.
This is where I am, and it's just how it is and how it's going. All right.
I don't expect you to change your tune.
Thank you.
15 is.
I expect you to change yours when Kevin Durant comes back. How about that?
We'll see. We'll see.
Only one person has hedged his bet and is allowed to change, and that's you, because you preference it.
I'm not hedging. I didn't hedge anything. This current team with a injured KD, Portland in 7.
And you hold all rights to change once Kevin Durant comes back.
Yeah, you hold all rights to change if Portland's up 3-1.
I know. I got to stick with what I say. I'm saying they're going to win Kevin Durant or not.
All right, Portland in 7. Kevin Durant or not.
Ooh.
Portland in 7.
Timestamp. 1 hour, 27 minutes.
Portland in 7.
I'll play that every day.
15 is nothing to these boys. They are a second half team. You still got to win 4 games to win the series. Even if they come back tonight, that still doesn't mean this series can't go 7. 7-game series are a long series. Portland is not the same team from the past. This ain't no about to get swept Portland team. Hey, I always say this. I have no issue with being wrong. We all have to face it one day.
We all do.
You've had to face it before. I've had to face it
A
before.
lot.
So I may have to face it again. Not a problem. But right now, that sounds like a lunch bet. No, I'm holding on right here. Portland in 7.
See,
KD or not.
even the listeners know that you don't mean it.
I give my reasons, but because my reasons sound so precise and educated,
So
I'm being
far
challenged.
off.
I'm being challenged on hedging. I pointed out statistically, this is not the same team. They're not even. Their bench is horrible.
Okay.
They're not the same team, and
They'll
now you're
find
taking
ways to win.
KD away.
Still find ways. To
You
win.
only need to win 1 out of 2. I'll give that to them every time. But now you got to win 4, possibly with no KD. I'm going with Portland this series.
3.
Well, 3 more with no KD.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
3. 'Cause they
Game
won-
7
they
Hayes.
won game 1.
Portland,
You
game
forget
7
that
Hayes. Game 7 Hayes.
Okay. Shout out to our sponsors, Mike Vaughn Plumbing, both licensed and insured. Vaughn's Plumbing provides top quality services at great prices. Call the man, the myth, legend. The number is
313-304-7786.
VaughnPlumbing.com. Also gives you the map where you can find out where you get serviced, and they also give away quotes. Call the man.
313-304-7786.
That man right there is the real MVP.
Also, don't forget, if you're looking to buy, sell, rent, lease, or invest in real estate, or maybe you're just looking for a career change, call my man Nick Bowers and his team at Keller Williams Lakeside. Let the home team help you with your real estate needs. Go to their website at thehometeamusa.com or on Facebook at The Home Team. The Home Team, a team you could depend on. Call my man, Nick Bowers, 586-634-9419. Again, that's Nick Bowers at 586-634-9419. KW Lakeside, The Home Team.
How is a house for love, and I love. We need to play that. You don't know the 5? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So.
You're so disrespectful, bro.
Better movie, 5 Heartbeats or a Temptations movie?
5 Heartbeats.
Thank you. Still friends.
In
All
other
right.
news, John Beeline's coaching the Cavs.
Uh,
I'm actually excited for him.
I'm not.
I just hope that I hope they hire somebody.
He'll get 3 years, get fired.
I know. It doesn't feel like that. I just want to see, can he be like an offensive-minded guy in the
He's
NBA?
in the trash team.
I know, but they're going to draft well. I mean, they're going to get good players, and he's going to get.
Are they?
I just want to see. I don't know. We'll see.
David Griffin's not there anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy. I am happy for him. He wants to do it. I'm happy for him. Good guy, great
Not
coach.
happy for him at all. It's a better mission.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think it's gonna be a cool little story.
Keep an eye on all our social medias for any updates or when the podcast goes up. Facebook, Instagram, Academy Sports Show, YouTube, Academy Sports Show. Look for our faces and cartoons. Like, subscribe, comment, search, rate, everything. Academy Sports Show. We appreciate it as always. iTunes and SoundCloud, both Academy Sports Show. Like it, rate it, love it, listen to it. Ox cable worthy on both your phone and your car. Anything else?
No, appreciate it. Thanks for the new listeners. Thanks for joining us on the live feed. Leonard, welcome to the show. We appreciate you. We're here every week on Thursday nights. So if you listen to us on podcast land or listen to us right now live, make sure you've clicked the like or a bell. We're here every Thursday, somewhere between 7 and 8, maybe. Who knows? But we're always going to be here. And don't forget, football season comes up. We are coaches, so then we will flip our show probably over to Monday nights or some other night because we have our own studio now, so we can do it whenever we want to. So we'll keep you guys posted. That's why you got to always follow us on our social media. On behalf of myself, Joel Williams, and this guy,
Me. Thank you.
hi. That's Dre. We're out. See you guys next week.